What's up? What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We back with another video. Today we are watching What If Goku Was in DC Part 7. Look, you know how I usually do the two parts in one? We're gonna stop doing this for this story because yeah, it's starting to get crazy. Part 8 it's 50 minutes long, so I would combine, but I'm on a tight schedule today. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So it's gonna start being single parts because I look at the other ones; they're like 25 plus minutes long. I'm like, okay, so yeah. For now on, just one part. So anyway, we gonna get into it though, cause you know I love this story. So and I know y'all love the story. So let's go. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe.
It had only been a few days after the defeat of the Saiyans at the hands of the Justice League, and Prince Vegeta finally awoke. Now, placed in a restraining armor, his mind still dazed from whatever had been keeping him sedated for so long. Seeing that he appeared to be in a mere stone cell, Vegeta smirked before raising his hand to blast his way out. As he attempted to, however, his arm fell to the ground instantly, smashing against the floor. But as he strained, Vegeta noticed strange symbols adorning the metal gauntlets on his hands. Wonder Woman decided to make her presence known. She had decided to take the task of monitoring Vegeta personally, knowing she was one of the only beings on Earth who would have a chance against him should the bindings fail.
An entire 12 seconds before you try to escape. Those bands on your arms, legs and around your neck are magic, similar to the ones that I wear that deflected your blasts when we fought. Yours, however, will sense your intent, and they will adjust to nullify ill will.
Resourceful. It doesn't matter. I'll find a way to break them, and then I'll break Kakarot!
Wonder Woman shook her head in disgust at the prince's declaration. No hint of regret or remorse, just a desire to not only kill, but to wipe out the last member of his own species too. She explained that she would be visiting him regularly to gain information about his mission and the being that sent him here, and perhaps find a way to help him deal with his pain. The prince spat on the floor in response to her explanation, causing Diana to turn, leaving Vegeta to his dwellings. In the days since the Justice League began their search for the entities, Wonder Woman had been instrumental to the Earth's peace. She had assisted in assuring the proper resources be given in the rebuilding of the destroyed cities, while also continuing her prior humanitarian pursuits. Diana still found the time to inspect her new guest, bringing him his meals in small portions. She wouldn't resort to torture, but she still knew that Saiyans were even more dangerous than full stomachs, from her experiences with Kakarot.
If you think giving me feasts will get me to turn traitor, you're even more delusional than I thought.
Diana was taken aback by the remark, as Vegeta spoke without a hint of sarcasm. This gave the Amazonian more of an insight into the conditions the Saiyan must have been raised in, if these small meals were a feast in his eyes. In the following visits, she would gain more and more insight, Vegeta being quite talkative, albeit mostly to boast about himself, which Diana took some guilty pleasure in responding by taking him down a peg. But now and again, as the weeks passed, a picture began to form.
You serve this dark side, yet you are a prince of the Saiyan race. What I'm trying to understand is the correlation here. Surely you fight for your own goals while admitting being a servant for him. From what you've told me, that would mean the sacrifice of your sense of self.
Recent events have led me to consider other options. Regardless, once Darkseid comes to seek vengeance for what you've done, I'll be laughing over your burning planet.
Vegeta remained coy the entire time about the real reason he decided to stay on the planet.
Cook you too, Vegeta.
Wonder Woman had no idea that he was here out of fear for Darkseid's repercussions, and he wanted to keep it that way. He just needed to bide his time, allow his wounds to heal despite the restraining armor slowing his recovery rates to a crawl, and then escape. Some of the visits were bad, some were productive. Despite his constant threats, Diana was never intimidated by the Saiyan, and Vegeta surprisingly seemed more eager to respond when she called him out, some part of him enjoying the challenge she represented.
Do your tails grow back?
No, only when we are children. It's a paltry concern. My powers will continue to rise without it. There are still untapped avenues of Saiyan potential for me to reach.
Very well, though I shall still apologize. I do not regret my own actions, but the consequence of losing a part of your cultural identity is an unfortunate one.
In the 2 months since the
Aww.
League's departure, the world had seen Lex Luthor's expansion into the realm of politics more directly, no doubt attempting to plant the seeds for an eventual presidential campaign that gave Wonder Woman pause. She had allowed him into the Justice League, and she believed that he could be a great force for good if allowed the proper environment. And while this had helped save the Earth, she was not blind to what Luthor had begun. With the rest of the League gone, she decided to confront him directly about her concerns. They sat in Luthor's office for a little under an hour, debating the ethics of various ideas for the future of humanity, before Luthor finally decided that the Justice League would not be in line with his future goals, quitting the team on his own accord. Wonder Woman left Metropolis that day deeply concerned, as while Luthor was not an evil man, he was most assuredly a dangerous one.
Finally back? So, when are we going to start more of your kind little routine? If you're so busy, I can end those problems for you in a single blast. Take these bonds off and I'll make it quick.
Has there not been enough death because of you? My lover is dead at your hand. You've taken so much from us already. Need you take more?
Lover? Who? The lantern?
The soldier. You crushed him under your boot.
Oh.
Someone like you, mated with a pathetic worm like that. Oh my, this planet is even more disappointing than I'd expected.
Damn.
Diana
Wonder
remained
Woman, what you gonna
unfazed
do
by his
now?
remarks, instead just feeling a deep sense of loneliness without Steve, without her comrades. Wonder Woman had been burning the candle at both ends. With the amount of cities she had to protect while the other Leaguers were away, she had only been fighting and watching Vegeta. She'd even been forced to place Hippolyta's magic mirror into Vegeta's cell, just so she could have the time to monitor her friend's progress while keeping guard of the Saiyan Prince. Still, she could not falter. She owed to them all to manage things here while they were gone. An Amazonian soldier entered the room, informing the princess that Gorilla Grodd was attempting to invade Keystone City. Diana thanked her and made her way to stop the threat, while Vegeta, having noticed that Wonder Woman was referred to as royalty, decided to reassess some of his preconceived notions of the Amazonian. As time passed, Vegeta decided to speak up during the following visit.
I need to say something.
What for?
Though we are enemies, had I known you were of royal blood too, I would have chosen different words in our previous conversations.
Alright, Vegeta,
Why
was
should
nice
that matter?
ass.
Being royal makes us better than those who serve us. Our nobility stands above all, as the strong rule over the weak. It is the way of things.
Uncanny. Despite the impossible distance between your cultures, you remind me of a people originating on this world, the Spartans. Cruel conquerors, sons of war, obsessed with battle. Their fate was the same as all who devote themselves to death and war. Death and war. It would seem the
Death
flaws of man's
and
world
war.
extend out into the reaches of the stars themselves. How disappointing.
As Vegeta was slightly intrigued by the idea of another Saiyan-like culture, their own conversation was interrupted by an Amazonian warrior frantically entering the room. She reported to Diana that they had been detecting strange energy signatures all across the beaches, one similar to those used by the Saiyan's technology. Believing
Okay.
this could be Darkseid, Diana readied herself for battle, leaving Vegeta as she went to inspect for herself. Vegeta, however, knew this wasn't Darkseid. He simply smiled, and then, once he was alone in his cell, decided to address the man who was now emerging in front of the bars from a boom tube.
What is that?
Well, well, well. If it isn't the bastard. I was wondering when you'd find me, Orion.
Darkseid's pet monkey, still as arrogant as ever. I want you on your feet when I kill you, in the name of the High Father. Stand.
Vegeta remained seated.
Stand.
Vegeta smirked, staring directly at Orion.
You're pathetic. Despite everything you say, it breaks your heart, doesn't it?
Stand!
That Darkseid sees me as his real son.
Orion roared in anger at the remark, firing a blast from his Astro harness into Vegeta's cell. The Prince of Saiyans was ready, having deliberately provoked the new god into making a mistake. and so he lifted his arms in the same manner as he'd seen Wonder Woman do, using his new gauntlets to deflect the blast away from him and into the door of his cell. He was free, and quickly dashed towards the exit, Orion giving chase, only for Vegeta to dash it aside, crossing the path of Wonder Woman, who had just returned.
By Hera, how did he escape?
The son of Darkseid himself freed me right under your nose. Now together we'll kill you all!
Vegeta inwardly laughed at how easy Orion was to set up, directing any opposition from his escape towards the warrior from New Genesis, leading Orion to fight back in anger and making himself fit perfectly as a distraction Vegeta needed.
Move it!
Orion, in his confusion, and needing something to blame for his own blunder, struck Wonder Woman before she had a chance to go after Vegeta, pushing aside the other Amazonians beside her. Diana defended her sisters, kicking Orion across the back of the head, the two beginning to battle throughout the island, each viewing the other as Vegeta's ally. The chaos of the situation causing Orion to be seen as the priority target, while Vegeta blasted off the island, still able to fly, given his only intention was self-preservation. Thanks to his speed, Vegeta was able to go far beyond the reach of any sensors in less than a second. But despite his escape being successful, he was now faced with a new issue. He was vaguely familiar with Earth, given his intel before the invasion, but without being able to survive in space, and this armor preventing him from pulling on his deeper reserves, the prince had no idea where to go and plan his next move. The one thing that came to mind was these Spartans. If they were truly as Wonder Woman described, then perhaps they would have stolen space travel from the weaker natives of the world, as his own race did with the Tuffles. Vegeta was able to access the internet after landing in Italy, demanding the phone of the first person he met.
Device, I demand you to tell me the location of this...
device?
Sparta.
And then, when he couldn't unlock the password, threw it to the ground and found someone else. All the while, his restraints were preventing him from killing the people he was stealing from, despite how much they were frustrating him. Eventually, he was able to have a terrified citizen show him the location of the Spartans, and to Vegeta's shock, explain what had happened to them. Vegeta walked through the ruins of the Acropolis. He felt like he was in some dreamlike state. Despite being long dead, these ruins still stood as a testament to a people's warrior pride. A small reminder, but one the Saiyan race would never have. He was an inconceivable distance from where planet Vegeta once stood in the galaxy, yet still, he was overwhelmed with a strange sense of nostalgia. It was the first time he felt at home since he had run away with Nappa and Raditz a lifetime ago.
Well, thank you for being kind enough to at least pick a decent burial site.
Vegeta's thoughts were brought back to the present, as a beaten Orion stood before him. Wonder Woman had obviously done some damage, but he had managed to withdraw from the island, lock onto Vegeta's genetic code through his mother box, and track it.
So Wonder Woman whooping your ass and you ran away. Come on, Orion.
Too bad there won't be anything left of you to bury.
Vegeta's boasts were hollow. He knew Orion was still a threat in his current state. He had to play this smart, or he'd be finished. The two charged at each other, with Vegeta raising his fist in a bluff, before flying over Orion's head and attempting to escape. But Orion would not fall for the same trick twice, and quickly overtook Vegeta, hitting him with a kick that sent him crashing to the ground. The adopted son of Highfather continued his rage-fueled onslaught, slamming his fist into Vegeta's gut and making the prince cough up blood. Orion lifted Vegeta off the ground with one hand, preparing to gloat, before the Saiyan spat the blood-filling his mouth onto Orion's helmet, blinding the new god, causing him to swing wildly, which Vegeta took advantage of, using a redirecting counter to send Orion's own fist into his face. Orion threw his helmet to the ground and leapt onto Vegeta, pelting the Saiyan with an onslaught of vicious blows. The prince's face was battered and bleeding, but he continued to smile, whispering to Orion every unspeakable thing Darkseid had called his abandoned son.
Even without your helmet, you're still hiding your real face.
Orion was now beyond simple rage. His blow shook the ground beneath them with every hit, but Vegeta was now able to shift his head in time to dodge these uncontrolled swings and grabbed Orion's discarded helmet, slamming the sharp point of it directly into the new god's eye. Blood gushed from the warrior as he screamed in pain, buying Vegeta a chance to try and limp away, but he felt his legs buckle as he began to move. Orion was a fool, but he knew how to break someone. With blood from his damaged eye rushing down his face, Orion began to look more akin to his father. Vegeta, for a second, seeing the image of Darkseid in the new god's scowl. Orion shot towards the Saiyan, and while Vegeta would continue to try and escape the situation, Orion would not be held back for long. He assaulted the prince from every angle, smashing his face against the ruins, an endless barrage of knees, elbows, and punches raining on top of the beaten warrior. Orion raised his fist for the final blow, but suddenly, his arm was caught by Wonder Woman, and she proceeded to throw Orion off Vegeta like a ragdoll.
Enough! He is beaten.
Diana had a cut lip and some bruises, but it was clear
Come on,
from
we
her
gotta save
appearance that
Vegeta.
she'd been the victor of her earlier battle with Orion, only being able to find the two warriors due to the incantations on Vegeta's armor possessing the ability to follow his spirit wherever it went. She stared down Orion as he rose to his feet, prepared to battle the new god again, should it come to that.
He is a prisoner of the Amazons. If you wish his death, mine must come first.
Orion considered his options, and decided that with the damage he had already taken, fighting this woman again was not going to end well for him, and so decided to forget this day altogether, smashing the coordinates to escape into his mother box to return to New Genesis.
I was going to make it quick, you damn ape. You deserve what Darkseid is going to do. The hell I care. You take your comfort with legs here while you can. You bugs deserve each other.
Orion vanished through the boom tube, while Vegeta
you talking
rose
that
to his
shit,
feet
Vegeta? You
and
let this
stood
slide?
beside Wonder Woman, laughing as best he could, despite his injuries.
Running with his tail between his legs. How pathetic. The mightiest of New Genesis, bested by an Earthling princess. At least it seems you're stronger than that, fool.
Wonder Woman turned to Vegeta in annoyance, his fixation on such a brutal idea of strength disappointing her at every turn.
You know nothing of strength.
I am an elite from the most powerful race the universe has ever known. I am strength personified.
Then why do you serve under a wicked master?
All I care about is battle. The only thing that matters to a warrior is strength. That's why I fight for Darkseid, and that's why we will win. No compromises, no morality. Only the purely evil can be truly strong.
Wonder Woman, having reached the limits of her patience, threw Vegeta to the ground. She wrapped the lasso of truth around his neck and kicked his face into the dirt, holding it there with her foot.
That is
Damn.
a lie. Abuse and cruelty is not strength, it is selfish cowardice. Strength comes from doing what is hard, from mercy and love. Here you are, bound by the golden perfect, the lasso of truth, under my boot. I could kill you right this second. Couldn't I?
The Saiyans struggled mightily against the lasso's power, the air around them crackling with small sparks as he tried to summon his might through his restraints, but it was to no avail.
Yes!
Diana wrapped the other end of the lasso around her own hand, compelling herself to speak the truth.
Killing you in this moment would be easy. Cruelty is easy. Your power comes from the same source of all cruelty, fear. So tell me, Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans, what are you afraid of?
Oh,
The Saiyan
shit.
screamed with all the might he could muster,
Can't avoid it,
managing to
Vegeta.
form an aura around himself, causing the ruins they were surrounded by to begin to crack. But there was no fighting this. He could wipe out civilizations, but he could not overpower the truth, no matter how much he didn't want to accept it.
That... No matter how strong I become, I'll never be stronger than him. For all my power, my pride, it is all insignificant compared to the rock of his unyielding will. Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans, nothing. Darkseid is.
The lasso reveals all lies, even those which we tell ourselves.
I was a boy and I saw my father, brother, my entire race wiped out. My birthright crushed and thrown into the wind. I faced the monster that did it. I was broken by him, and Darkseid was there to rebuild me in his image. You speak of strength through love, but after all the evil I've done for the Saiyans and in Darkseid's name, no one could ever have love for me. I must be evil.
Diana relaxed
I
her
must
hold,
be evil.
no longer restraining Vegeta. Yet the prince still lay on the ground, the weight of his pride keeping him subdued. Wonder Woman looked the prince in the eyes with the same honesty she'd faced all beings with, allies and foes alike.
I love everyone, even you, and that is what makes me strong.
Even you. Alright, that was a cool little chapter right there. We see what Wonder Woman was doing while everybody's out there looking for, you know, the stuff to bring people back. So that's cool. That's a cool little chapter. You know, we're gonna watch part 8 eventually coming up this week. And it's a 50-minute video, so you know I would have combined it, but I ain't got no time. And so anyway, shout out to the Geek for Fun. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.